Veteran CEO, bodybuilder, ultramarathoner, author, and podcast host, Nick Bare is proof that I've done nothing with my life and will never make my dad proud. He's like an anime caricature of an alpha male, but he wouldn't understand that reference because he's too busy being on his grind to ever watch an anime. In an attempt to become 3 inches taller and look like this with my shirt off, I dove face first into the cult of Nick Bare. I bought his supplements, I bought his clothes, I read his book, I listened to his podcast, and I used his training app. Am I now an enlightened ultramarathoner hybrid athlete? Or have I just wasted $300 in 3 weeks of my life? Who is Nick Bare really? Is he natty? And why does he shave his butt crack every morning? Stick around to find out. The BPN training app is completely free. So what's the catch? Well, this must be a Steelers catching play because there actually is no catch.
Pickett, end zone, Pickens, one-handed try incomplete.
The app is kind of like the McDonald's Play Place in that it's free, but it's definitely attached to where they want you to be spending your money. Every single workout they have tells you exactly what supplements they want you to be taking with it, and they have a direct link to buy those supplements. But I guess this isn't exactly the end of the world when the training programs are free and the app isn't that buggy. So what do you two think of the training program?
It's difficult, very difficult.
But do you think that the weightlifting is fun?
I don't know that I'd call it fun.
That was 3. This is very humbling. So the number to beat is 3. And I won with 3. After the weightlifting session today, on the walk back home from the gym, my foot started really hurting. I was limping by the time I got home, and I've had to ice my foot all day. The symptoms look like metatarsalia, which is an issue that you can get often from overtraining. The best therapy for this is just rest and ice. I ended up doing the hybrid athlete program for 3 weeks with 3 different friends, and only 2 of us got injured. So yeah, the program is rough around the edges. But once again, it's free, so... Now there are genuine nuggets of gold here. I found myself inspired to train harder and work harder the week I read the book, and I enjoyed the experience overall. He has truly great advice about how to tackle massive challenges. But at the same time... My first thought when I opened this book was, wow, this is only 140 pages, and the text is very large, and there's pictures. It's more like an extended blog post than a full fleshed out book. Then there are the editing issues. Entire sections of the book are just repeated. So the book itself is Nick Bare walking through his life history. He talks about joining the military, building BPN, and his YouTube channel. And then Nick Bare uses his life story as a springboard to motivate others to do great things with their life. I found a lot of great motivational quotes in the book, but I found that a lot of the concepts weren't properly hashed out. I could spend forever on this, so I'm just going to take a single example. Hustle culture.
No!
As the BBC puts it, hustle culture promotes the idea that there's always more to strive for. More money to make, a bigger title or promotion to secure, or another ceiling to smash. And Nick Bare claims to not be a fan. As he says, it's not about the grind or the hustle either. I've never liked these 2 words. But then looking at his conclusions in the book, this feels suspiciously similar to hustle culture. This way of living is not for everyone. Not everyone wants more or better, to each their own. Me, I want to push my mind, my body, my possibilities above and beyond anything I ever thought possible. And if his outline of his days when he was building BPN in Korea isn't an example of hustle culture, I don't know what is. I typically wake up around 11:30 p.m. to knock out a half marathon in the morning. Then from 2 to 4 a.m. I'll edit YouTube videos. At 4 a.m. I'll email everyone who works for me to make sure that the first thing they see when they wake up is an unanswered email from their CEO. Just want to make sure to spike those employee cortisol levels in the morning so they're all alert. From 6:30 to 7 a.m. I like to look at my wife condescendingly for sleeping in so late. 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. I'm on my grind. Whether that's grinding coffee beans, grinding rails, or writing code littered with so many bugs that it's probably counterproductive to merge my PR. I'm on that grind. From 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., I read David Goggins' book for the 73rd time. 9 p.m. to 11 p.m., I email all my employees again to boost their stress levels precisely before they're about to go to bed. I keep this spreadsheet here of when all my employees go to bed so I can send them emails precisely before that time. 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. is my gym session, where I do every single exercise to failure. And then it's back up in an hour and a half ago to do it all over again. 3 things I don't have time for: friends, family, and food. Now, I do think that Nick Bare actually understands balancing hard work with life to escape the hustle culture hell. And I empathize with his desire to always go on more and challenge your limits. I just don't think he hashes out this idea with sufficient clarity in the book. And his half-baked clarification of how to push yourself to your limits could be counterproductive to many readers. On average, BPN products are about twice as expensive as the Swedish supplements that I get online. So why? Let's start with the protein powder. So I got the vegan protein powder, and I can say that the amino acid profile is better than most protein powders, although it's still not gonna give you as much of the essential amino acids as something like whey protein. But I thought that it tasted really, really good, and it blended very smoothly. Clumpiness or inability to mix in with a smoothie is one of the issues I've had with a lot of vegan protein powders. So that being said, I think the protein powder is equivalent to other like premium brand protein powders, which are in the similar price range. So we're gonna try the pre-workout. This is Joanna's first time trying it. Let's see what you think.
Cheers. Yeah, pretty good.
The pre-workout was also super tasty, and it gave me that "are you sure this is legal?" type euphoria in the gym. But that's just probably because it had 300 milligrams of caffeine per serving. And this is a major issue when we look at the dosage sizes of the other active ingredients in it. So for example, there's citrulline in it, but an effective dose of citrulline is like 4 to 10 grams. A full scoop has 2 grams of citrulline, so it's not really an effective dose. So they put citrulline in it, but it's not actually doing anything. The pre-workout also has beta-alanine, but there have been a small number of scientific studies on not enough people, so the results are completely inconclusive on this. It's just being marketed as beneficial to performance and endurance. Then there's betaine anhydrous, which has been said to be beneficial for sports performance, but once again, there's no evidence supporting that either. It also has NAL-tyrosine, and studies remain completely inconclusive on that. The salted watermelon electrolytes were really delicious, but once again, they're like 50% more expensive than anything I could get from a generic brand. So what's the overall consensus here? You definitely don't need to be paying a 50% markup just to have Nick Bare's name on your flavorless creatine monohydrate powder. But all of this stuff tasted good, and if you like to purchase products to be part of a community or something, I get it. That being said, it's not a worthwhile trade-off from me. So the general consensus is no. He recently released his blood work prior to a bodybuilding competition showing that his testosterone levels were insanely low. But this could be indicative of 2 things. One is that he's natural, and because he's been training so hard and at a caloric deficit, his testosterone levels are very low. And 2, it could be that he was on testosterone replacement therapy and then he'd just gone off, which would also tank his testosterone levels. So really, it's impossible to tell. So what's the argument for him being natty? Well, he's big. He's not like outrageously big, and he's been lifting consistently for over 10 years. So maybe with fantastic genes, lots of consistency, what he's doing is possible? I'm reluctant to believe that though, purely based on his training volume.
So how many days a week are you lifting?
So I'm lifting like 4 to 5, and I'm running about 5.
And at the end of the day, we will never know.
I wanna know, where did we go wrong?
I'm exhausted and struggling to work out even half as much as he does. And that's while I'm working a pretty run-of-the-mill job while he runs a multi-million-dollar company shipping products internationally. And sure, I could just use Nick Bare's on steroids as an excuse. Because if Nick Bare is on steroids, that means that all of his achievements and the BPN brand are built on a lie. That lie being that Nick Bare's physique and achievements are available to all of us if we just put in the work, stay consistent, and take G1M sports 3 times a week. While really this is only possible with the aid of anabolic steroids. But if Nick Bare is natty, that makes it even worse. Because that means his physique and achievements are achievable natty, and that just makes me a bitch. And the hell of it is, I don't even know. Am I a bitch? Or is this all an illusion? And not knowing makes it even worse. But maybe, just maybe, the reason that I'm poorer and I feel much worse now is simply because I didn't shave my butt crack while doing all of this.
I stand like this and I spread one cheek and then I use the hair clippers.